Today we're diving into The Lazy Genius Way by Kendra Adachi. Do you ever feel like life is a constant struggle to keep up? Are you overwhelmed, feeling like no matter how hard you work you're always falling behind? If so, you're not alone. This book provides a fresh approach to living efficiently and finding joy in the everyday. Stay with us until the end to learn how you can simplify your life, while still prioritizing what truly matters. We all know that life can be chaotic, sometimes even putting in all the effort doesn't seem to make a difference. But what if there was a way to work smarter, not harder? Are you spending your time on things that truly matter, or are you constantly caught up in tasks that leave you drained and dissatisfied? We often think hard work alone will solve all our problems, but it's time to shift that mindset. The Lazy Genius Way challenges the traditional idea of productivity by focusing on what's truly essential and letting go of the rest. Imagine being able to organize your life in a way that allows you to accomplish more without feeling constantly exhausted. This summary will guide you step by step through the lazy genius mindset, helping you establish effective routines, make intentional decisions, and organize your day in ways that truly align with your priorities. You'll discover practical strategies for managing your time, reducing clutter, and being kinder to yourself along the way. This isn't just about getting more done, it's about making room for what brings you joy and fulfillment. Ready to start your journey toward a more meaningful and efficient life? Let's get started. How to think like a lazy genius. Everyone wants to be the best, but achieving that doesn't just require hard work. Instead of relying solely on effort, you need to use your mind strategically. The author Kendra Adachi understands this well. With years of experience, she, like many others, has reached the conclusion that hard work alone doesn't guarantee success. If you're not convinced, let's take a look at some of Kendra's experiences, which revealed just how relying exclusively on hard work can backfire and what you can do to avoid failure. Kendra was always a perfectionist. She wanted things to go according to her high standards and meticulous plans. Growing up, she had her entire life mapped out. Every detail from school to work to achievements was planned. This habit helped her overcome many challenges, giving her opportunities to grow and excel. However, it also created limitations. At times, Kendra's commitment to hard work became the very reason for her setbacks. A perfect example is one of her previous jobs, where monthly breakfast meetings were held and team members took turns preparing breakfast for senior staff. Kendra saw this as an opportunity to impress and showcase her planning skills. Instead of collaborating with others, she took on the responsibility of preparing breakfast by herself. After weeks of planning and preparation, she had nearly everything perfectly arranged, except for one crucial part: cooking the actual dish. She planned to serve a simple stuffed French toast, but on the day of the meeting she realized she didn't really know how to make it. Out of pride, she refused to look up the recipe, believing that she was good enough at everything to figure it out without help. You can probably guess where this is headed. By the end of the meeting, the seniors were unimpressed, with some even saying it was the worst breakfast they'd ever had. Kendra's assumption that hard work would automatically lead to reward ultimately resulted in embarrassment. Wanting to work hard is a good thing. It's an important aspect of success, but it's not the only factor. Sometimes you have to think differently. Thinking like a lazy genius means putting in just the right amount of effort necessary to achieve success, no more no less. It's not about settling for being average, rather it's about avoiding unnecessary work in areas that can be done more efficiently. The energy saved can then be invested in tasks that truly matter. The lazy genius method is a pathway without excessive drawn-out processes. It's about finding shortcuts and knowing when to use them. Everyone's priorities in life are different, so it makes sense that some people seek easier paths. In certain situations, you don't need to give your all to every project. Knowing when to stop is a crucial skill for success. As you grow older, your energy becomes one of your most valuable assets. Learning how to conserve and use it wisely will help you make the most of every opportunity. The Lazy Genius Method equips you with these skills and more, showing that to be truly successful, you don't just need to work hard, you need to think like a lazy genius. Decide once. Making decisions can take up more time than you realize. Often the time spent thinking about what to do is longer than the time it takes to actually do it. The first principle of the Lazy Genius Method: decide once, addresses this challenge. It doesn't mean you have to plan out every little detail for the future. Instead, it's about choosing what to do in specific events or situations, making a one-time decision that you stick with. To understand this concept better, let's look at Kendra's story. She used to dread Mondays. The start of each week brought a sense of pressure and frustration, and she often struggled to get into the right mindset. But it wasn't the day itself that was the problem, it was her mindset around it. Many of us believe that Mondays set the tone for the entire week. If something goes wrong, we think the whole week is doomed. If things go well, we expect the week to be great. This mindset leads many people to approach Mondays in extremes. Either they put in an excessive amount of effort to ensure a positive outcome, or they give up and leave everything to chance. But does either approach really work consistently? Not quite. Kendra decided to try the lazy genius method. This technique taught her to make small intentional decisions about the less important aspects of her life. For example, she decided once what she would wear, what time she would wake up, and what she would eat every Monday. By creating a routine, she stopped dreading Mondays and began looking forward to them, allowing her to focus her energy on more important decisions. Decide once goes beyond just planning your Mondays. It can be applied to various areas of your life. You can decide in advance what to wear for certain events, what to eat for breakfast each day, or even how to maintain cleanliness in your living space. Decisions are never ending because we make countless choices every day. The key is to identify which small unnecessary decisions can be simplified. Doing this frees up mental space for you to focus on the more important choices. You might already be practicing this without realizing it. Have you ever walked into a restaurant and already knew what you were going to order? That's a fixed decision, a choice you've made beforehand, creating an unintentional routine for yourself. However, fixed decisions are only valuable when they are intentional and beneficial. If you're forced into making choices you don't want, the principle loses its purpose. The main goal of this strategy is to reduce stress and mental pressure, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Making choices that you don't agree with only adds more pressure to your life. It's important to make decisions you can stick with in the long run. Good decisions are those that add value and meaning to your life. Bad decisions, on the other hand, don't serve you and often become a burden. A good example is the things you own. Everything you possess is a result of your fixed decision choices to buy, use, and keep those items. Good decisions involve things that help you in your daily life or hold special significance, while bad decisions are things you bought but never used. These unused items just add clutter to your life and take up space. When you learn to focus on good decisions and let go of the bad ones, you'll notice the positive impact on your life. After a few months you'll see how much mental and physical space you've freed up. Decide once is a strategy that helps you navigate situations without overthinking. It's the first thing you need to know in the lazy genius method. Setting the foundation for making life simpler and more efficient. Build the right routines. If there's one thing you should know by now, it's that having complete control over everything is impossible. Many people become so obsessed with doing things perfectly that they forget that not everything can be controlled. The real source of dissatisfaction in life isn't what happens to us, but our expectations about how things should be. You can't control every aspect of your life, but there are some areas where you do have control. These are the things you choose to include in your life and routine. A good routine can give you a sense of control over what's happening, empowering you to manage your circumstances better. Habits help you get where you want to go. You might think that building routine sounds like acting robotically, and you're not entirely wrong. Rigid routines that aren't adaptable can cause stress, but remember, the main purpose of routines is not to exert control, it's to provide an effective path toward your goals. Let's say you want your kids to be in bed by 1 p.m. The routine of brushing their teeth and changing into pajamas isn't the goal itself. The goal is to get them to bed on time. If you focus too much on the details of the routine, it can backfire. Being overly strict with your routine can cause you to miss out on important moments. Routines should consist of activities that move you closer to your main goal. They should act as triggers to help you reach that objective. Returning to the example, getting your kids to brush their teeth and change into pajamas signals that bedtime is near. It sets a pattern that teaches them these tasks are done before sleeping. Another benefit of routines is that they offer a sense of stability to people with chaotic or unorganized lives. Despite all the turmoil, having even one thing under control, the actions you take, provides a safe space. Kendra, for example, navigated some major changes in her life by creating routines that helped her cope during difficult times. Kendra grew up quite disorganized, with things scattered everywhere. Within a year her life was hit by 3 major changes that significantly impacted her. The first change was her parents' divorce. Although Kendra knew it was coming, it still hurt deeply. The second change was her mother's remarriage. Not long after the divorce, her mother found a new partner, which took Kendra by surprise. The third change was leaving her school. Kendra had attended a Catholic institution all her life, but due to financial difficulties, after her parents' separation, she had to switch to homeschooling to save money. Money for the family. These events left a lasting impact on Kendra, but she coped by establishing routines. Her routine included calling her father every morning and having dinner with the family every night. This allowed her to stay connected with her father while getting to know her new stepfather. Kendra also made time each night for her assignments and took short breaks during lunch to recharge. These routines helped her stay on top of her schoolwork, and gave her the feeling of still being a student even without physically attending school. Not all routines are the same, and copying someone else's schedule is futile. You need to design your routine to suit your needs. Here are 3 simple steps to create the right routine for you. 1. Start small. The first thing to remember when building a routine is to start with small steps. People don't suddenly achieve big goals. They begin with small manageable changes and gradually progress. If you put pressure on yourself to do something big right away, you'll likely feel overwhelmed and give up. 2. Find your rhythm. Along with starting small, choose something motivating to kick off your routine. The first task should be easy and set the tone for the rest of the activities, like listening to music or enjoying a cup of coffee. It can be anything that helps you get started and keeps you motivated. 3. Always follow your goal. It's easy to get caught up in the routine itself and start following it for the sake of following it. To truly be a lazy genius, you need to keep your main goal in mind. Sometimes your routine may not work in every situation. Instead of blindly sticking to it, adjust as needed to stay on track toward your objective. By using these steps, you can build routines that not only add structure to your life but also move you closer to your goals in a practical, flexible way. Put everything in its place. Have you ever heard of a tiny house? If not, let me explain. A tiny house is a small living space that includes all the essential areas you need, like a kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, and sometimes even a bathtub. The concept revolves around simplicity and efficiency, making the most of the available space. Tiny homes have become a popular topic in modern living, with many people downsizing from traditional houses. It's not because they want to live with less out of necessity, but because they want to escape the clutter that accumulates over time. However, moving into a tiny home isn't the only way to declutter your life. You can achieve a similar effect by putting everything in its place, learning to organize things so that there's room for what truly matters. For some people, living without clutter seems impossible. Many choose to keep a lot of possessions, and that's okay. No one should be forced to live differently. This principle isn't about throwing everything away, it's about reducing what you have to a manageable amount. The lazy genius method is not about doing too much or too little, it's about finding a middle ground and focusing on what really matters. You can apply this approach not only to routines but also to organizing your belongings. The key is to make space for things that are genuinely important. It's important to note that having a lot of things doesn't automatically mean clutter. For instance, owning hundreds of books doesn't count as clutter if you're a book lover. In this case, books are essential to you to keep everything in its place and avoid clutter. You can develop these 6 habits. 1. Find a place for everything. Start by organizing the things you already have. Look around and identify any clutter, whether it's a pile of items in the corner or dirty dishes in the sink. Whatever it may be, find a way to address it. Once you've cleaned up, develop the habit of keeping it that way. You don't need to become obsessed with cleaning, just make time to tidy up regularly before clutter accumulates. 2. Know where things belong. As soon as you buy something new, assign a designated place for it. Avoid letting it sit out in visible areas like the floor, sofa, or bed. While leaving new items out may not seem harmful at first, the longer you delay finding a proper spot for them, the more clutter will accumulate. If you continue to place things randomly, you'll soon find yourself living in a messy space where nothing is easy to find. 3. Get rid of what you don't need. Clutter isn't just about trash, it's also about items you own but don't use. People naturally tend to collect things, and that's okay, but now is the time to break this habit and make room for what matters. You may find that you have a lot of things you don't really need. For tackle one thing at a time. Some clutter can't be dealt with in one night. It may feel overwhelming, leading you to give up. Instead, make a habit of tackling one thing at a time. For example, start with your clothes today and work on your shoes tomorrow. Progress is still progress, and before you know it, you'll have completed half the work. 5. Create a weekly cleaning routine. Keeping everything organized all the time is challenging, especially if you're used to collecting things. Establishing a weekly cleanup routine can help you stay on track. If you spread things around during the week, you can Tidy up on the weekend. Don't let a small mistake derail your efforts. Use a weekly routine to maintain order. 6. Be mindful of what you keep. When you organize, you may come across items you had forgotten about. It's time to let go of things that no longer serve you. Holding on to objects with the hope of using them someday is like carrying unnecessary baggage. Let go of what you don't need and keep only the things that are useful. By adopting these habits, you'll be able to keep everything in its place. Reduce clutter and create a living space that supports your goals and values. The goal is not to achieve perfection but to make your surroundings more functional and meaningful. Chet, have you ever tried to tackle a lot of tasks all at once? Kendra certainly has. Before diving into the lesson from this chapter, let's hear her story. Kendra used to run a small business called the Sugar Box, a bakery that opened just once a month, but took orders daily with limited baking dates. She received a high volume of orders every month, requiring her to bake hundreds of cookies and pack them into 40 to 70 containers. In the beginning it seemed impossible for Kendra to complete all this in a single day. However, by handling each baking date differently, she discovered a new technique that made the process manageable. Batching involves grouping similar activities together and arranging them in a specific order. Kendra found that preparing the cookie dough the day before and organizing it according to the orders made the work much easier. Once the baking was done, she could set the cookies aside, pack them into separate containers, and then tie each package with a ribbon. Batching similar tasks allowed her to work more quickly and efficiently. The result was that Kendra could complete multiple orders with ease and satisfy her customers without stress. Of course, Kendra wasn't the first to invent batching. This technique is commonly used by large companies and manufacturing lines. If you've ever visited or observed a factory, you'd notice that work is done in batches. Each production line focuses on a specific task, and by allowing different teams to handle separate segments of production, companies significantly increase their daily output. When applying batching to real life, it's important to know which tasks can be grouped together. Not everything can be batched, as some tasks require more attention to detail. When batching activities, make sure they are repetitive and ordinary. Here are some examples of tasks you can batch. 1. Laundry. Washing clothes is one of the most repetitive tasks. Unless you're among the world's wealthiest who never repeat outfits, you have to do laundry. An efficient approach is to batch the sorting and washing in one day and then fold and put away the clothes the next day. This way you don't have to do everything at once, making the process faster. 2. Cleaning the kitchen. Cleaning the kitchen is a repetitive and often tiresome task. Instead of avoiding it, try completing it in batches. Start by gathering all the dirty dishes and placing them in the sink, then clean the countertops and the stove. Finally, wash the dishes and put them away. You'll be surprised at how quickly it all gets done. Batching isn't just for home chores, you can apply it to work tasks as well. You can batch tasks anywhere as long as they don't require a lot of critical thinking or focused attention. Batching is a process that helps you complete tasks faster, making it an excellent life hack for getting things done. By organizing similar tasks together, you can save time, reduce stress, and increase efficiency. Whether it's at home or in the workplace, batching can be a game changer for anyone looking to manage their time better and accomplish more with less effort. Be kind to yourself. Many people get so caught up in trying to become better that they forget to value who they are right now. We place endless demands on ourselves every day and often neglect to appreciate our current selves. Self-love is the purest and most basic form of love that you should bring into your life. When you take a moment to appreciate yourself, you become kinder and feel lighter. You stop focusing on the negative and choose to see the positive side. However, this self-love must come from within. Relying on others for validation is difficult because if we don't believe we are worthy of love, we won't be able to accept it. Imagine someone complimenting you every day, saying wonderful things about you. Those words won't mean much unless you truly believe them. The solution to this problem is to accept and embrace it as your own truth. Kendra experienced this firsthand during her bedtime routine with her daughter. A disagreement led to her daughter crying and shouting at her. After finally putting her daughter to bed, Kendra went to her husband Cass, hoping he would say something comforting to make her feel better, but she was surprised when Cass didn't say a word. Frustrated, Kendra shouted, "Why aren't you comforting me? Can't you see I'm feeling terrible?" After arguing with our daughter, "The least you could do is tell me I did the right thing as a mother." Cass looked up and calmly replied, "Would you have believed me if I had?" His words left Kendra speechless. She knew deep down that even if her husband had tried To comfort her, she wouldn't have accepted it. She would have still blamed herself and felt bad because ultimately the only person who could make her feel better was herself. Now we know that we are responsible for how we feel. Let's delve deeper into why we often view ourselves negatively. The answer is closely linked to our expectations. Like everyone else, we want to grow and become the best version of ourselves, but this goal often comes with expectations. We expect ourselves to reach our full potential, which leaves us dissatisfied with who we are right now and constantly searching for what we could become in the future. This mindset triggers negative emotions because we're always chasing after our ideal selves, never content with who we currently are. We become our own harshest critics. If you want to avoid being so hard on yourself, try adopting these 3 habits to bring more appreciation and gratitude into your life. When you learn to apply them, you'll find yourself happier and more loving towards yourself and others. 1. Value who you are today. Stop focusing on who you could be or who you were in the past. Pay attention to who you are right now. The person you are today. Today is what truly matters. If you can't find happiness in the present, you won't find it in the future either. Valuing yourself means appreciating who you are right now. Be grateful for your journey and learn to love yourself as you are. To embrace your potential. Once you've accepted your present identity, take a look at who you want to become. Are you working towards being a better version of yourself, or are you content with staying the same? Change is inevitable and it's something you need to welcome into your life. After learning the concept of the lazy genius, try applying it and see what happens. Embrace growth, as living life to the fullest means being open to change. 3. Celebrate your wins. We often forget to celebrate the victories we achieve every day, whether big or small. Don't overlook the importance of celebrating your accomplishments. Life is unpredictable and no one knows what will happen next. When things go your way, take the time to celebrate and enjoy the moment. It doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as treating yourself to ice cream or taking a day off work. The key is to reward yourself. When you allow yourself to relax, you're giving yourself a reward which fuels your motivation to pursue the next goal. Being kind to yourself is not about being complacent. It's about acknowledging your worth, appreciating your progress, and finding joy in the little moments. It's a powerful way to foster a positive mindset that propels you forward with self-love and gratitude. Conclusion: you've learned how to think like a lazy genius. The idea is to know when to put in the effort and when to hold back. Focus on tasks that matter and give your best when it's truly needed. By thinking like a lazy genius, you can save your energy for the things that count. The second lesson was about making fixed decisions. Decide once is the first technique of the lazy genius method. It's about making one-time decisions for routine tasks like what to wear or what to eat to free up mental space for more important things. Third, you discovered the real meaning of routines and how to create them. A routine shouldn't be an end in itself. It should serve a purpose. Start small, find your rhythm, and keep your goals in mind. To build a healthy routine, by following these 3 steps, you can create routines that actually help you move toward your goals. Fourth, this summary taught you how to put everything in its place. Organizing isn't just about having a clean space, it's also about building good habits. With organizing habits, you can live a more structured and spacious life. Get rid of the clutter and make room for what matters. You don't have to do everything at once. Take small steps every day. Fifth, you learn the power of batching. Batching means grouping similar tasks together or doing them in batches. These tasks should be repetitive, routine, and require minimal thought. When you batch tasks, you complete them more quickly, saving time, effort, and energy, which allows you to focus on more important things. Lastly, you explored the importance of being kind to yourself. Many people forget to be gentle with themselves, constantly focusing on their potential and overlooking who they are right now. The truth is, the only person who can truly make you happy is you. Being kind to others only matters if you're kind to yourself first. Life is already challenging. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. The lazy genius way gives you the keys to living a practical, comfortable, and organized life. Take this opportunity to apply the lazy genius principles today. Focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. That's all there is to it, friends. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the lazy genius way. If you found these principles helpful, why not start applying them today? Remember, it's about focusing on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who could use a little more balance, and subscribe for more insights on living an intentional and fulfilling life. Let us know in the comments how you plan to use the lazy genius principles to simplify your life. Until next time, keep things simple and make life work for you.